conference. We're going to start with Simon from the Telegraph. Simon, when you see the green that you are live. You are live, Simon.
Hi, Andy. I guess we knew Felix as a top player, but did he surprise you? I mean, 52 winners. It seemed pretty elite level tennis he was playing.
No, I mean, he kind of played how I expected. I mean, you know, he's a big guy, takes the ball on. There's obviously, you know, fairly quick conditions here as well. So, you know, I expected him to play that way. And, yeah, he maybe served a little bit better tonight, I think, than he had been the last couple of weeks. You know, which helped, and because he obviously got quite a lot of free points with the first serve, and then even when I was getting a racket on it, you know, he was able to dictate off the first shot of the rally as well.
Okay, let's go to George from Metro UK. George, you are live.
Hi, Andy. I was just wondering how you were feeling physically today, how much of an impact you felt that long one you had in the first round had on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously certainly doesn't help. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the longest match I've played for quite a while. You know, and physically, I actually, you know, did pretty well, I thought, in the first one. But, you know, I think that the more tournaments you play, the more matches that you play, you build up that sort of robustness in your body, you know, which, you know, right now I don't really have. And I think, you know, the last 2 weeks, like I played a long one against Zverev, and the next day, you know, didn't play a particularly good match. Actually, physically didn't feel too bad, but then, you know, same thing again, obviously played a long match the other day, and then, you know, today, you know, wasn't the level I would have hoped for. So that's something that, you know, I'll need to build up over the next few months, and hopefully beginning of next year. You know, if I can stay healthy, I'll be better able to back up difficult physical efforts.
Is that the thing you feel lacking in your game most at the minute, the ability to follow up those matches rather than anything particularly that's wrong with your game?
No, I mean, look, I mean, definitely tennis-wise could be better as well. You know, I felt like I played some good stuff at times, but it was quite up and down. You know, and that's something that, yeah, again, I would like to play consistently better tennis, consistently higher level tennis, because, well, what that does is that, like in the first round, for example, I thought I played better as the match went on, but if you aren't playing at a high level consistently, then, you know, you will play longer matches because you're having dips. And I think that was the case in my matches last week as well. Like, I played a really good first set against Zverev, dropped off a bit in the second set. Third set's kind of similar. The match against Tiafoe was the same. So that's something that is going to have to improve as well.
Thank you. Up next, Rob from The Sun. Rob, you are live.
Andy, I appreciate you've just come off court, but do you have any idea about the clay court season and what tournaments you might play? It's a very quick turnaround.
I mean, right now, I mean, the plan was to just play the French Open. You know, I haven't played a match on clay since 2017. You know, which is a very long time. So, you know, it'd be unfair on my body, I think, to maybe try, and certainly playing in Rome would be too soon, because I'll need to take a little break after getting back from here as well, because it's been quite an intense little stretch this in comparison to what I've had the last 10 months or so. And then, yeah, I mean, I think it would be beneficial for me to have time to sort of build up my load on the clay before competing on it. So as of right now, my plan would be just to play the French Open. But I mean, I guess that could change, but I certainly won't be playing in Rome.
Do you go straight now, or do you stay in Flushing Meadows and support the Brits like Jamie and Dan and Cam?
No, I'll be going home to see my family.
Okay, up next will be Neil from the Mirror. Neil, you are live.
And I don't know if you heard before the match that Felix said he actually watched the US Open like 9 years ago when he was like 11 years old. How does it make you feel that these young guys, you've inspired these young guys to come through and now they're coming to play at this level?
I couldn't hear the whole question. It was a bit crackly. Sorry, I didn't hear the whole thing. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
I heard that.
Felix said before the match.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he watched you play at the US Open in 2011, and now he's coming through and playing you at this level. How does it make you feel that you've inspired players to come through and play at this level now?
I mean, in some ways, like, it's nice because it shows that you've had, a long career. I guess when you're sort of playing against different generations of players. For me personally, like, I was a bit sad that I missed playing against like Agassi and Sampras. Like, I came along like a couple of years too late. I would have liked to have had the opportunity to do that because they're obviously guys that you watch on the TV when you're growing up, and I mean, it's one of the things that, like, for me, going on like the court like tonight against a young player is that you feel like you go on with the experience of having been in that situation maybe more times, and then the only downside is that they might have been watching you play for a number of years, so they know your game probably a bit better than you know them. So I don't think it doesn't make me feel. I don't know. I don't feel old or anything like that. It's just I'm happy that I get the opportunity to play against the younger guys coming through.
Thank you. Let's go to Mike from the Daily Mail. Mike, you are live with Andy.
Hi, Andy. Of course, you won't want I don't know, I'm getting some kind of echo, but you won't want to make excuses, but could you tell us a bit more about how you felt yesterday and how you felt at the start of the match?
A lot of my body felt really, really good. There was a few bits that were, a bit sore. But yeah, like, I don't really know exactly what I was, what I should have been expecting. Really, I mean, I haven't played a whole lot of Grand Slam tennis the last few years, and I mean, physically, like I said, I coped well with the first match, and maybe I would have liked to have recovered a bit better than what I did. But I mean, what are you meant to expect? When you've not played matches for a very long time, and then you play a 4.5 hour one, the other day. Maybe it wouldn't have made any difference if I was feeling 10-15% better. Because he was obviously playing very well, but there's maybe some things I could have done differently in the match.
Thank you. Let's go to Stuart from The Times. Stuart, you are live with Andy.
Andy, I think that's like the first straight sets defeat in Grand Slam for quite a while, like about 4 years. Obviously, like, results like this are maybe part of the process for you, especially as someone coming back from something as serious as hip surgery. But how difficult is it for you as someone who's done so much in the game to sort of suffer a result like that? And is it particularly difficult on the court when you're 2 sets down to a 20-year-old?
No, I mean, I think my results in Grand Slams over the years is one of the things that I've been very proud about and feel like I've done, very well in terms of my consistency and the level that I've been able to play at. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what I should be expecting, like, or if you would be expecting me to do much better than what I did here. I don't know, but yeah, obviously I don't want to lose in straight sets anywhere, and obviously certainly not in Grand Slams. So what I need to do is look at what happened the last couple of weeks, look at the things in my game that weren't as I would have liked, and then physically look at what I can do to improve, so that if I'm in that situation again in a few weeks' time and the French Open, that I deal with it better. But yeah, I mean, all you can do is just try and keep improving from kind of where you are. And I'm not in the same position that I was 3 years ago when I was, in the latter stages of most of the events I was playing. I'm kind of, back at square one. I'm ranked, 115, 120 in the world. And my game reflects that just now. So I'll need to get better if I want to move up the rankings and be more competitive.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
And do you go home
Go ahead.
feeling this is
Go ahead.
do you go home feeling this is a step forward, given that you at least won a 5-set match and then also had a top 10 win last week?
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't really know exactly what I was expecting. The number one priority for me was that my right hip was good, and it coped really well with a 5-set match, which, lots of people, myself included, weren't sure how I was going to deal with that, and actually coped relatively well the other day against a very tough opponent. So that was positive. But like I said, to build up, I feel like I'm sort of, like I said, back at square one, like having not played in slams for a few years. Like, I need to build up like my body and my physical conditioning, so that I have the ability to back up 5-set matches, and that takes a bit of time, unfortunately. Well, for me anyway. Maybe other players it doesn't.
Okay, we have time for 2 more questions. Chris from usopen.org. Chris, you are live with Andy.
Hey, Andy. Thanks for being a big inspiration.
Thank you.
Question about the work you've done over the last couple of weeks. Has it changed at all how you envision the rest of your career and what you might be capable of doing in Grand Slams and so forth?
Yeah, I would say even after tonight, I would say I'm more positive about what I could do in Grand Slams than I was before I came over here. I mean, you guys obviously don't know how I was feeling even just a couple of months ago. So, like I said, to come over here and play, I played a couple of tough matches in Cincinnati, and I played certainly one very tough match here, and my right hip felt good. That's really, really positive. There's other things, like I said, that need to get better, but I would say that I'm more positive now than what I was a couple of months ago. That's for sure. In terms of winning Grand Slams again, I mean, that's going to be extremely, extremely difficult to do. It was hard enough when I had 2 normal hips, so it'll be difficult, but I'll keep trying. Like, why not? Why shouldn't I try my hardest to do that? And if I don't, that's all right. But I might as well shoot for the stars. And if I don't, if I don't get there, then that's all right. But I'm trying my best to get the most out of what my body gives me now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Last question goes to Daniel from Chip Charge. Daniel, last question.
Andy, watching some rallies this evening reminded me of past games versus Rafa or Djokovic. So recognizing that you're still struggling with keeping the level along 5-set matches. Do you see that your level, your game level is going gradually there to the level that you want to achieve?
I wasn't that happy with how I played in the matches over here, to be honest. I would have liked to have played better tennis. But yeah, like at the end of last year when I was playing, I felt like with each match and each week, like I was improving and my tennis was getting better. Whereas I didn't necessarily feel like I played much better at the US Open than I did in Cincinnati, to be honest. So yeah, that's something that needs to improve for sure. There's things in my game that need to sharpen up, and they're not physical things. That's just my timing and getting time on court against good players that are hitting a big ball, because you practice as much as you want with your coach or juniors, but playing against guys that are serving 135, 140 miles an hour and hitting the ball huge from the back of the court, that your timing needs to be spot on. So the more I get exposed to playing with better players and practicing with them, the better for me just now.
Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you very much, everyone. Felix will be in the room
Thank you.
at midnight. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks.